Hello, everyone. I see Ash. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. My name is Knight, and I'm going to tell a story on one of my best friends. Unfortunately, there's information that needs to get put out into the world and put as a message as he is a cheater and a backstabber and someone who's not trustworthy with any woman because he is a player and is not loyal in the slightest at all. So I have been friends with David for about 5 years. There was one year where he told me he was with this person, and I heard someone saying she was with him too, but it was a different girl than he said he was with. So I asked them both. They both said they was dating him, and I told them both about each other, knowing it could fuck it up for him, but at that moment, I didn't care about what it was going to cost him, because I don't do cheating at all. So, and so, after I had told them both about what he had done, they both had confronted him about it, and he didn't know who told them because but I did confront him about it. He got all defensive on it because unfortunately he doesn't know what's right and wrong. Best way I can put it. And so my friend David unfortunately had to face the consequences of it in what made it worser in that concept about what he was doing and how wrong it was. And there was one time where he had went behind my own back. I had introduced him to a girl I was with at the time. For about 3 years, me and this girl were dating. And in seconds of them meeting, he went behind my back and got with her without thinking about telling me. And I had found out because, me and them, me, David, and my ex, we will call her Hope. Me, my ex, David, and Hope were all on a call on Discord. And I had walked away for a few seconds to go get something. And she he had said, so what was this part about you liking me? And unfortunately, she had said, you know he can hear you, right? And so, when I got back, I had confronted them both on it. They both immediately got defensive on it. And so, I had got on them both about it. And yes, shockingly, I'm still friends with him, even though I probably shouldn't be. There has been many red flags about it, but it's okay, because shit happens. You can't really stop it. But ever since that happened, I have been telling any girl he's with what he does, which, yes, is fucked up of me. But at the same time, it's not really fucked up. What's fucked up more is that my own best friend of 5 years went behind my back with my ex, who I was dating at the time, and proceeded to lie to me. And once he had got confronted about it, he had told her, babe, he knows. And at that point, it had just pissed me off, cause what the fuck. And so, once I had found out about it, I had cussed them out in the group that we were in. Which, yes, is probably not the best spot of it. But after all that chaos went down, I had stopped talking with both of them. I had blocked both of them. And me and him still talked it, like, outside of messaging on Discord and stuff. And so, we were talking, and we had decided to go back to being friends. But after that, I stopped introducing that I was with anyone to him, or even introducing them to him. And so, he started introducing me again to the people he was with. And again, I made sure they knew what he did, and I made sure that they were actually with him. Because if they weren't, I wasn't going to go do nothing. Unfortunately, they both were. And now, unfortunately, my friend has done the dumb thing and decided to date a minor. And unfortunately, I have warned that minor. And there's also been times where he's threatened my own child. Now, this is not my actual kid, this is a platonic child. This child just calls me their parents because I treat them better than their own parent does. And so, I confronted him about what he said to my kid. And he got all defensive, saying they liked me and whatnot. When in actual perspective, my kid did not say that. My kid had went to tell me what he had said. And he had said she had had a Snapchat, which unfortunately that wouldn't make sense because my child did not. Unfortunately, my child did not have Snapchat, which made it even weirder. And after he was confronted about it, he proceeded to lie on it. And so, after that, I had kept more of an eye on him with that because this child that looked up to me as one of her parental figures was scared that he was going to hurt her and come show up to her school, which he had said he would. Which is not okay for an adult or close to an adult to be saying that to a minor child. And after he had got confronted, my child is wanting to press charges on him for harassment. And so, now that the harassment is going on, my best friend David is now going to. I don't know if he's still doing it. I haven't heard from that child in a while, which concerns me. But I can't help with a child wanting to follow their dreams. And I'm not going to stop my child from doing that. Because that is their life, not mine. And in the slightest way will I stop them from trying to finish their goals as being happy. So, I have now, since I don't really see him as much as I used to in person, I don't really confront him as much, which I probably should. But I still keep information and tabs on him, making sure he's not being stupid. But it's my best friend I'm talking about, which he has no self-control about not being stupid. And so, I now have to make sure he doesn't come near any of my friends. And it's got bad to the point where one of my friends had to get a restraining order in the school, by the school. The school had made her get a restraining order against him because of how stupid he was being and how he acted towards her, which was probably a good thing, if I'm not going to lie, because he is not really trustworthy with that shit, and he does not like to be really told no. Because, okay, so here's what he'll do. He'll blame his family, saying they're sending nudes to a minor. And noted, this minor is in, about to be in high school with him. and he's dating a minor who is still in middle school. And he is moving on in middle school. He is moving up to become a freshman, and he still thinks it's okay about how he acts, which it is not in the slightest. But there should be some people being told about how he acts and what he does, even though I am not in that school. And so I now have to think about what he's going to do in high school. And so I now have to keep an eye on not only my friends, but him, to make sure he does not hurt them. Because he has a tendency to be over aggressive for absolutely zero reason whatsoever with anyone when he doesn't get his way, which makes it way worse than it needs to be. And so I now have to deal with my friend ending up either being a pedophile or a stalker later on in life. Yes, I still hold a grudge to him going behind my back with the person I was with, which is normal for people. But in my case, he shouldn't have done it after I trusted him to even introduce her to him. Especially since I told him she was my girlfriend. Which makes it even worse, counting the fact of you would think you can trust your own friend to not sneak behind your back with the person you are with, but instead they do. Which makes it 100% worse, counting as you trusted that friend with your life, or to even tell them about your partner, and them going behind your back after you told them how long you were together and how much you trusted your partner. Which, yes, it ain't okay. I'm not saying it's okay. I'm not making it okay. I'm just doing it with the way I can personally deal with it, which is to, unfortunately, ignore him as much as I can possibly. Which again is not the best thing to do. I wouldn't tell anyone else to do it the way I do it. But I'm also still sticking around as his friend to get more information and help out those in need that think he's a really good guy when he is not. Because he is a fibber. And he doesn't make himself have a good image about what he's doing or how he's doing it. Because what he is doing is treating the people he is with bad, and it's going to give either someone who he's friends with or and it doesn't give anyone else really a good image. And yes, there is a bad part of me being friends with him, but I am sticking to the part of where I am making sure that minor he is dating, who is 12, while he is 15. My my friend is going to be 12. My friend is going to be 18, while this girl is turning 15. Which, yes, it is okay if the parents give them consent to date, but as far as I know, the child's siblings do not like him in the slightest. They absolutely hate my friend because of how he is, and they don't get along. And the fact of him dating a minor who is going to be 15 when he is 18. Noted. This friend of mine is 4 years younger than me. I mean 4 days younger. My bad. And he thinks it's okay to date a minor who is underaged as fuck, and he thinks he won't get any consequences for that action, which is not. It's not a good image on me or anyone else, which makes it not okay, because he has tons of friends. There's also been times where I've been told by people that are my friends in that school, their middle school, that he is groping girls. Little kids. He is touching little kids. And kids who are in 6th grade, like are almost turning 13. And he just thinks it's okay to be touching minors, which is in the slightest not okay. And it gives people who he's friends with a bad image, such as myself, but I have put a reputation on how I act more than him. I have indeed met his family, and unfortunately, I feel bad for how he treats them. Well, technically, all the families, unfortunately, a nutshell in a case. They all are pretty bad with how they act. Yes, I am not saying it's okay for am not saying it's okay for him to be doing that at all. It is really bad, actually. He shouldn't be doing this. He has got into fights over touching other people, and he has now had to. Other people have had to put like restraining orders in school against him because of how gross he is, which does not give really anybody like safety out of dealing with him, knowing he is one, a complete idiot for one, dating a 6th grader who's about to be a 7th grader. No, actually, she's about to be an 8th grader. And unfortunately, this is a part of where, yes, people might start coming at me for being his friend still. I get it, being his friend probably is not the best idea for me at the moment, but if it keeps me to where I can keep other people safe, then I will keep doing it, just to keep any girl he gets with safe. Because he has talked about getting this minor pregnant and marrying this minor. Noted again, this minor is 12. I think she's now gonna turn 13. This minor is 3 years apart from him. And he thinks it's okay to date that minor, knowing very much this minor's siblings hate him and have told their sister if they catch her dating him, they will be mad because she cannot date him. Because they know how he acts, and this minor has not listened to her siblings one bit on it. Yes, I might be bad for saying this all, and yes, this might make a fight between me and him, but at this point, I don't care. There has been times where me and him have fought over this stuff, and it's because of how he acts and treats any woman or kid that is a girl. He has smacked girls' asses that are 6th graders. Legitimate kids who aren't even really grown up yet. Like, they're just now getting into 6th grade with dealing with an 8th grader. Close, that's supposed to be a 9th grader, touching them. Like, I don't see how people find this in the slightest way okay for almost an adult to be touching a child. Yes, I am not saying it is okay. I am not saying what he's doing is okay. I am not supporting it. I am confronting the matter on which what he does. Because what he does is not okay, and I will continue saying this story over and over again until it becomes viral and gets put out to where he has to literally, I get it, might seem bad what I say, but if he has to hide himself from getting his butt beat, then I can't help him, because I've warned him many times, do not touch a minor. And for him to threaten my own kid who is doing successful in their life And this child is... I'm proud of her because she's gotten to a really good school, which most kids can't get into unless they have really good grades, like A pluses, all that. This child has made me happy and proud of how far they've got. And I'm not going to let my friend threaten my kid, who I make sure is safe and is doing okay, because at the end of the day, you might be my best friend, but I'm still going to make sure people know how you act and what you do. There is never going to be a time where I'm going to say it's okay. Because even I'm not going to say it's okay to touch a legitimate minor. Because, like, who's going to want to touch a kid? Like, do you understand the fact of that? Like, there is a concept of we don't touch minors, and that is for a very big reason. Because kids should be able to be kids and not be afraid of someone taking them or kidnapping them because of a grown man who has no really self-awareness on how he makes kids think or feel. Kids should be able to be kids in their own school and not have fear of another classmate harassing them and asking for nudes and saying that it was their brother, because he has framed his own brothers who are adults, and that is bad, because they are adults who can go to jail for saying stuff like that. And yes, he has laughed about that fact. He knows they could go to jail and he does not care. And it's to the point like, why are you even doing this when they're literally your family who would be there for you and make sure you're not like, this is the family you're gonna ask in case you go to jail to bail you out, and they're gonna be like, no. Heck, if he asks me, I'm still gonna say no too, because I ain't going to be helping a future pedophile get out of what they deserve, because I'm not going to be associated with it. I warned him constantly to not do that and to stay away from little kids, because he could get in serious trouble with this, and he has not once took that to any sort of mind, and I am not going to make him. That is going to be his choice when he learns that lesson. There's a concept of your friend is trying to help you not become a future pedophile or rapist. And if you don't take that hint, your friend is going to be done helping. And I'm at that point where I'm done helping my friend try to even not think about doing that. And it's gotten to the point of, I don't know what the next chapter of this is, but I do know once he's in high school, I am keeping an eye on him as much as I can, because there is no way I'm going to let him group another child. Especially a kid who just wants to get through school and not have to deal with it no more. Because I've had friends tell me they were terrified of him because of how gross he gets. You know how bad it gets when your own friend is saying the school demanded they put this order on where they have to where they can't be near each other because of he makes their feel. That is the most like disgusting thing to hear. And I have been told that by many of my friends. One of my friend's siblings, who is a 6th grader, he has tried to touch. And is that is one not okay in the slightest, because this is a minor just now starting middle school. I will repeat again, a minor just now starting middle school who is barely even about to start 7th grade. And you think it's okay? Right, no, my bad. They're gonna start 8th grade now, because they're out of 7th grade. But he thinks it's okay for him to try and grope a child, which is absolutely beyond found. And yes, I am not associated with it. I am just the friend who tries to get him on the right path, but he never listens. So at this point, I am done helping him, and I am going to show him what real consequences are when everyone in your life hears about this video and starts saying what they feel about it. Because I know dang well when everyone else hears this, they ain't gonna be okay with their child hanging around a future predator. Like, if y'all were to tell me, would y'all feel okay with your child hanging around a dude who... Would y'all be okay with your kid hanging around a future predator? I don't think so. I bet I would have, if there was more people watching, I bet some people would be saying, I don't trust this guy around my own kid. Or as a friend, because how do you think he would act with your own kids in the future when he's an adult? Would you trust him with your kid? I don't think I would. Knowing about how he acts? Fluff no. It's the point of where it's not even friendship no more. It's just absolute disgust. Because the fact of your own friend has been told he acts like a pedophile and he does not even listen, which makes it worse on you because now people stare at you thinking you're the same way as him, and it makes you be like, what do I do? Because you're trying to prove that you're not your friend and you won't be, and they think that you are just like your friend when you are not. Like, I have to think about what's going to happen if this guy gets a girl pregnant and he's around his own kids. Like, do you know how bad that is? Their own best friend thinking of what he's gonna do with his own child. Like, it's to the point of where I might fight custody for his kids if he has them. If he has any kids, I'm going to fight for custody over them. Hello, what's up? But the fact of that my friend thinks it's okay to grope little kids that are way, way younger than him is crazy. And he's in fact dating one of these kids. Need to say, I remind, this child is 12, about to become 13 or 14, dating a person who is going to be 18 by the time they turn 15. I've been streaming for not hours. I've been streaming for 43 minutes. But the fact of that my friend thinks it's okay to date a minor and act like he's not going to have any consequences is insane. And I know if I said his last name, everyone could find his snap and they would start belittling him. Yeah. Yes, this is my favorite. But the fact of that, okay, Lee Ryan, if you're wanting to find out what I'm talking about, just go to the beginning and you'll see what I'm talking about so you can catch up on everything. I'm not going to repeat everything, unfortunately. I will start where I am, though. I will answer questions, just not right now, as I'm trying to kind of explain the part of where I'm telling what's going on. But I have to ask, would y'all trust this? Would y'all? I have to ask the people who are watching, would y'all trust my best friend with your kid in the future? Or his own kid? After what y'all have been told? I'm gonna vote half of y'all are gonna say no. In a split second. I'm sorry, but I am not, okay, Lee Ryan, I am not buying anything, unfortunately. I am just telling a story. Again, if you want to find out the information, watch everything. I may stream, but I am not paying for a logo when I have made my own, and I can make my own. But there comes a point of, if y'all haven't watched the whole stream with me as I'm going along and talking about it, y'all can go back and listen to it as I explained everything. If needed, I will repeat everything. I would just have to re-look at what I said. But it comes to the fact of, how do y'all think he's gonna act with his own kid if he's acting like this with little girls? And I repeat, little minors. These kids are barely even out of middle school, and he's treating them like he can just rope them. Like, I don't think anyone would trust him with his own kid, let alone someone else's kid, to be exact. Because who the heck is trusting him with a child when he does this stuff and it doesn't help anyone he is friends with, because it just gives them a bad image and it makes them look bad, let alone the fact of that you have to like, how would y'all feel if this dude had to babysit your kids? Yes, I am at this point to where I am asking questions on it, because I would be dumbfounded if someone said yes, they would trust him with their own kid, let alone his own kid. Like, it's the point of just absolute disgust of how he thinks this shit is okay and still proceeds to treat people like they are just coming at him, when in reality he is the one making people come at him for how he treats people and how he treats women he's with. There's been times where I've heard him call his own girlfriend a gold digger because she asked him for something for her birthday. Literally for her own birthday, which is just crazy. Like, this becomes a problem of, how do y'all think he's going to act when he's older? He is soon to be an adult, and he might act like this. Like, it comes to the point of where this gets bad in a way. This is where pedophiles start growing up without the sort of discipline they need to not be in this way or taught this way. And I can confirm his parents do not teach him none of that. Not one bit. They do not teach him none of this, which makes it harder on people who are actually, like, trying to help. And trying to teach him what is okay and what is not. And the fact that he still thinks this is okay makes it even more sickening. Because that is my own friend. And I have to deal with him being like this. And yes, I had to warn him about when I introduce him to anyone else I'm with, because he is in the predator mode. It don't matter if you're with someone or not. And how I know that is because he's went after my... How I know that is because he's backstabbed me with someone I was with. And acts like he's done nothing wrong, which pissed me off. Yes, I did go at him. That is beyond the point of the topic. But the fact of that he thinks this behavior is okay is beyond founded and absolutely disgusting. Because it's like, bro, you have people looking at you in school, thinking, knowing that you act like a predator and harass women just to try and get them to like you. There has been times where I had to catch him on his shit, and me and him will get into it, and it becomes an absolute problem. Because it's like, what do you do with someone who does not take reason or accountability for themselves or anyone else? Like, I need y'all to explain how does someone become this entitled to think that if they act like this, they just get infinite, like, shit and doesn't get any consequences, let alone get told that it's not okay. Like, it becomes really bad at the point. To where it's just bad. Yes, I know it's bad that I let him get on with this. No, I am not saying it's okay. I will never be saying it's okay. That is not what I do, and it won't be. It becomes to the point of, what do you do with a friend like that, but you don't want to be rude enough to say what is wrong and what is bad? Like, I had to ask y'all, would y'all let this man in the future when he's a grown up, would y'all think he's okay, safe around his own kids? It gets to the point of, like, if y'all need more context for it of what I'm talking about, go back in the beginning of the live and you'll hear everything I'm talking about. And if needed, I will repeat it. I don't mind. Like, it's like, do y'all even trust him around his own child, for God's sake? Like, I wouldn't even trust him around his own kid. It's that bad to the point of, who's trusting him around his own child? Because from what I look like, I'm not trusting him with his own kid. Let alone my own. It gets that bad to the point of, like, just no. Because, like, I know thousands of people who would say no, they don't trust him around his own kid, even. And that becomes shocking because of how he acts and treats people. And thinks he can get away with it, which is so crazy to me. That he thinks he can get away with stuff like that and not have no consequences whatsoever. Which is shocking. Because who taught him that? And I know for dang a fact his mother and father don't teach him that. It comes to the point of, like, just utter disregard for what people say and how they act. Like, it gets bad at the point of where I don't even trust my own best friend around my kid. You know how fucked up it is to say that? To say that I don't trust my own best friend to be around my kid because of how he acts. Like, it's bad beyond the point of return. And me knowing my friend, I know he does not care in the slightest. Because all he's really cared about is seeing if girls like him or not. And seeing the most way he can try to, unfortunately, groom them. Which, again, not okay. I'm not saying it is. I would never be saying it's okay. So don't no one take my words and misplace them in ways that they are not going to be placed. Because I will fight on it. My words shall never be mispronounced or any such. Because there will never be a day where I say it's okay for him to date a minor. Especially a minor who has her own siblings saying they do not like her dating him. Like, it gets bad to a point of your own siblings say they don't like you around him, and you just not listening to anything your siblings have said. know there are people who, when they listen to this, will agree with me on that statement of, no, he's not going around my kid. Just because of how he acts and what he does. Like, it gets bad to the point of, what do you do with a friend who don't listen about you telling him what is not okay and what will never be okay, just for him to go and act like everything is fine? It becomes a point of, like, recognition of how bad this person has got, to the point where they think this behavior is okay when it's not. It never will be okay, and I'm not going to say it ever will be. Because it becomes bad when you have kids running up to you saying they are scared of your own friend. You know how bad that gets when you have a kid just running up to you saying they're scared of your friend? To where I get people want to say he's good, but he is not in any slight way. And there will never be a day he is. Because it gets to a point of, how do you trust him around his own children, for God's sake? And it's not like it's bad or whatnot, but it gets to a point. But it gets to a point of where it becomes bad enough to where you don't trust your own kids around this, or let alone your friends who are still minors, because of it. And it gets bad, let alone knowing the fact of, how are you trusting this man around your own kid? Let alone his own. Which makes it even more crazy to think about. Because this is the point of no return as far as I'm aware, because of how he acts. It gets to that point of where it really becomes that point of where you're like, no, I don't want this man around my kid at all times. Unless he is being watched by people, as you have him around your child. And for the sake of it, I can agree with most people that this man should not be trusted around kids, unfortunately. Let alone around anyone. Who thinks this behavior is okay. Hello, Xander. If you're wanting to hear what I'm talking about, restart the stream and you'll hear everything. But it becomes a point of, would you trust this man to be around your own kids, let alone anyone else's? Like, for instance, your own family. Like, it gets bad, insanely bad, of how you treat yourself and what you do, let alone how you expect him to act with your own kids. Which, honestly, if I had to tell y'all, he might be my friend, but I'm never gonna trust him with my own kid, let alone my friend's kids or any of my family's kids. Unfortunately, I have to say it that way, although he is my friend, but it comes to a point of, yes, we may be friends, but there's never a time where I'm gonna choose to protect the child, to not protect the child over you, because unfortunately that child comes first, and I'm never going to put a kid's life in danger just because it's something you want to do. It gets to the point of, how do you even trust your own friend around your own kid? Especially around someone you're with, because of what he's done to me in the past. Yes, he's my friend, but that doesn't give him a right to be sneaking around with someone else's partner, or even my own. It gets bad of the point of, like, how do you trust this man to be with your own kid or someone you're with because he has no boundaries whatsoever? And it gets bad because you're like, oh, I can trust him, he doesn't do anything wrong, and you end up lying to your own self about what to do because now you can't even trust your own friend, let alone your best friend, with, like, even being around your own partner. You know how stupid that is to not be able to trust your own friend? It becomes really stupid because now you're like, what do? I can't even trust him anymore. It becomes stupid to the point of, what the fuck even is this? And how do I make this stop? Because in your mind, you're like, what do I do? How do I stop this? To where it gets really bad about how you trust your own friends later on in life. To where I can't even trust some of my friends with my own, like, person I'm with, because I don't trust them not to go behind my back. Yes, I get it, your partner might say that you're not, but they're not going to do that. But there's always gonna be that doubt in your brain. No, I'm not saying having that doubt is okay, or it's okay to just push through it all. I'm saying it becomes a point of, don't believe it anymore. Because what is it gonna do for you to believe someone else's rumors and stuff over your own partners? And I know that people might think, hey, he might change later on. He's been doing this since he was in middle school, so there is no way he's going to change. I hate to say it like that, but there is no way he would change just because of what some people say. It gets really bad after you try to make. And yes, this is his profile on my invites. I could very much get him on if I went to go play, but I do not want to, as the fact of there is no need to. I'm never going to try anymore If he gets on, that is him, not me. I do not personally care for that. It is the part of how do you eventually trust your friend again with telling him anything, because it becomes a point of how do I deal with this? How do I make this seem like it's not a big deal? When in reality it really is, unfortunately. At this point it's not really an unfortunately. It is a really big deal, and there's not many stuff people can do about it. Yes, I know some people wish there was, but there really ain't. Accounting for the fact of not everyone's going to believe you until you finally start saying what needs to be said and put out loud. Yes, it is not okay. I will never say it is again. I am saying what needs to be put out and dealt with, because you have a part of where you have kids going around this adult, this person who is almost a full-grown adult, thinking it's okay to touch minors, when in fact it is not. It will never be. Yes, I know the way I put it is not the best in the situation, but this is like the only way I can personally explain the fact of it. And it becomes a little bit not more okay as time goes on, knowing the fact of you can't really look at your friend again the same way because you know what they do and how they act, which makes it entirely, and I mean this, entirely bad, because now you can't even trust your own friend, let alone him being with anyone, because you can't. And there's a point of how do you trust your own friend again with shit, knowing he's just going to do the exact same the long run, even after you've told him that it's not okay. And I know there's probably many people who can agree with me on it that they wouldn't trust their own kid around this type of behavior. And yes, I am very much friends with this idiot. As much as we know, this friend of mine, unfortunately, is going to have to face consequences of his own actions. Because trying to grope minors is never okay. And it never will be. And I hate that his own family lets him think that what he does is okay in the slightest. When it's not. And it gets more insane with how derogatory. Yes, I am trying to find words here. But it becomes the point of how do you deal with this friend who you are friends with still after telling him that this is not okay. And it never will be. And for all y'all that are just joining, I will explain everything if you need. It's just literally me explaining why some stuff will never be okay with people who have no boundaries for what they are doing in the slightest. And yes, I do not really support the part of what he does. I never have. It becomes a point of how do you trust this man with your kid ever? And it just becomes hard at a point of no return. It just becomes astonishing how someone can think saying this stuff is okay. Because knowing people I know, it gets bad to the point of there is no return. And yes, I know what I say ain't really the best. But at least I'm taking the courage to get this out. And I'm not going to hide what he is doing. I never will. And he knows this. It gets worser with time, because you're like, he can't do anything wrong. And then you find out your friend is close to being a pedophile or a rapist. And no, I am never going to say what he does is ever okay. People can fight me on it, but I will. Yes, he is my friend, but I do not support anything he does. And I never will. There could be a time where people are fighting me on it, and I will not agree. Because no one is going to agree to saying it's okay for a minor to be almost raped. And I am not going to be the first to say that it's okay. I never will. Don't want to. So no, there will never be a time where I'm saying his actions and how he acts is ever okay. Do not think I will. If y'all think I will, y'all are very much damaged people. Damaged people. In the slightest. Because why would I be talking about this if I was like that? Knowing knowing that it could hurt many people if I were to even try to explain No, there's not any exception for how he acts or treats people. There never was one to begin with. Now, there is part of the fact of it's not okay that he does this. Again, I'm not saying it is. I never will be. And yes, just because I do not associate with it does not mean I don't keep an eye on him. I just honestly have better things to do than worry about. Oh. Okay. Now I get it. Y'all make it seem like no. Now, as I explain it more, yes, it gets a bit bad as it goes on with explaining. Now, yes, this is bad in cases of this is my friend who I now have to make sure is okay. Don't, that's what this is. There is never any way to there is no way to describe how to deal with someone who acts like this, and I'm not going to expect there to be. It is beyond the point of fixing at this moment. Now, yes, I get the point of people wanting to hit him, but it's not really gonna do anything, y'all. You're just giving him a reason to keep doing it. Cause like, if you think he cared, he would have stopped by now. But he doesn't, which is the problem. He never has. Again, no, it's not okay. There will be more info on it as time goes on. I am not going to stop giving information. But that does not mean I want people to get involved. I just want people to know. Because hopefully the more people know, the less he will try, maybe. As much as I hardly doubt it. He just might, though. He might stop. And yes, I am doubting my own self as I'm saying this. But other than that, that's like all the information I can really give on the situation. Yes, it is not okay. I do hope y'all learned something from this information as much as I did. Noting the fact of it depends on how people describe it. And how people take the information. But for now, I hope y'all learn the lesson of this and why it is not okay to fall on minors. Have a good day, everyone, and I will see you later in the next one.